Welcome to Football with Cheese. So in this video, I am going to preview the Ravens-Dolphins Thursday night game. I'm not going to do this every Thursday, but I wanted to go ahead and do it because this game is more important than you realize. But first, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. Before we get into it, a reminder, Mike and I from the Lights Out podcast that we do every Tuesday night, link in the description, we're doing a watch along this Monday night for the Cardinals-Cowboys game. We're going to have some guests. We'll go live probably 15-20 minutes before the game starts, so make sure you check that out. They're a lot of fun. Okay, so first let's talk injuries. Lamar Jackson is back. There was some criticism of the Ravens with their injury report. Supposedly a lot of people thought Lamar Jackson was going to play against the Bears. He did not, and they might get fined. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. That's not the whole point of this video. But it's all to do with betting and the NFL partnering with Vegas and all the betting companies. It's ridiculous. That's why injury report's out there if you didn't know. Why we have to have the status, because it helps Vegas make lines and prop bets and stuff like that. Yep, that's the reason. I don't care, honestly. I like when teams are deceptive, even if they get fined, because you're trying to win the game. They don't care about covering the spread. You're trying to win the game. But Lamar Jackson's good to go. If he's 100%, then he could have played against the Bears. My guess is they held him out, thinking Bears aren't very good, because they're not. And we can still win with Tyler Huntley. And they did, 30-16. In the Dolphins, injury, this one's going to hurt. Storm Duck is out for the season. Cornerback for the Dolphins, Storm Duck, is out. No, it's not going to hurt them at all. He's one of the worst corners in the NFL, but he's got a cool name. And I will bring him up probably, at least a few more times this year because I like saying Storm Duck. So, not a lot of injuries in this game. Ravens are probably as healthy as they've been since week 1. And if you did not know, they got off to a horrible start. They should have beaten Bills, lost 41-40 to start the year. Then beat the Browns, and then all the injuries caught up with them. They lost 4 straight. Got the win against the Bears. They're 2-5, but they're the betting favorite in the AFC North because the Steelers and Bengals lost. I know it's crazy, but they haven't played either team yet. So it's 4 games against those opponents. So let's talk about what this game means for the Ravens. They have to win this. It's a must-win. The Dolphins are just not a very good team. We'll talk about them in a second. And the Ravens get Lamar Jackson back. He's one of the best players in the NFL. The defense has not been good, but you have to win this game against an inferior opponent, even though it's on the road. Their next 2 games are also on the road. They have 3 straight road games, but the Vikings haven't looked good, and you get 3 extra days to prepare. They have quarterback and offensive line issues, and then you're at the Browns, who are also not very good, even though it's a division game. After that, they host the Jets, host the Bengals. So this is a real opportunity for the Ravens. But they got to take care of business in Miami. And the Dolphins are coming off their best game of the year. They are 2-6. They beat the Jets at home earlier this year, and they went at Atlanta 34-10. If you did not see that game, you'd think, wow, what happened? But the Falcons were missing the quarterback, Michael Penix, and Drake London, their star wide receiver. And Kirk Cousins is washed. He's just washed. And he didn't have Drake London just to throw it up to when in doubt. It was just an absolute disaster for the Falcons. And the Dolphins played pretty well, finally. They finally had a game where they played well, coming off a horrible loss, 31-6 at Cleveland. But these teams are going different directions. If you're a Dolphins fan, you want to lose out. You want to lose as many games as possible and pick high. Because the Dolphins don't have a good roster. They don't have a very good head coach. To me, he's not a leader. A lot needs to change. And somehow they find a way to win 6 games with 6-11 and don't pick in the top 7. That's not going to help anything. If you're not going to make the playoffs, the best thing to do is lose every game. And I was looking at the Dolphins' last 4 drafts. What a disaster. Chris Grier, the general manager, I don't like to promote firing anyone, but I would move on from him now. It would give you time to find a new GM before the end of the season, and then let that GM decide if they want to keep Mike McDaniel. Very unlikely Mike McDaniel keeps his job. but maybe the new general manager wants to keep him, give him another shot, because the roster's really bad. It's not all Mike McDaniel's fault. I don't think he's a leader. I think he's a good offensive mind, good offensive coach. I just don't think he's a good head coach. But so I was looking at their last 4 drafts. My God, 2021 was a very good draft. Jalen Waddle and Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland. Very good draft. But since then, I can think of 3 picks that are even above average in 4 drafts. They got Devon Achane in the 3rd round, 2023. Very good pick. They got Malik Washington in the 6th round, 2024. I can't believe he didn't go 2 rounds higher. Ollie Gordon, 6th round this past year. There's not one other pick you can say, wow, they did a great job. Jonah Savanaia, if you watch my content, I big focus on the NFL draft. So if you are a huge draft fan, make sure you subscribe and tell your friends. But Jonah Savanaia, I called him one of the most overrated players in the draft. I did not have him in my top 60. I thought he was more of a 3rd or even 4th round pick. And they traded up in the 2nd round to get him. They were desperate for an offensive lineman. He is one of the worst offensive linemen in the NFL this year. He's been a disaster. So they're not getting much out of their draft class. Kenneth Grant, their 1st round pick, who I liked a lot, but he was still a reach at 13. He has not played well. They just don't have a good roster. You can't have 4 bad drafts in a row. You can afford maybe 1 in the NFL. But once you have 2, 3, 4 bad drafts in a row, there's a reason why they're a bad team. So the Dolphins, best thing for them is to get a new GM, possibly new head coach, and pick as high as possible. And Tua's not going anywhere because of the cap situation. You can't just get rid of him. So he'll be the starter next year. If you do love a quarterback, you can take him. He can sit for a year. Or Tua can be a bridge. But you want to pick as high as possible, and maybe you can trade out. I talked about this in my Bengals video. The best thing to do is lose out, pick high, not necessarily to get a better player, picking higher in the draft, but to trade out and get more picks. Just like the Bengals, the Dolphins need to complete overhaul of the roster. They need more talent. And you need to draft better. They need a better general manager. Chris Greer is just not it. So Dolphins fans, trust me, you want to lose this game. And it's just crazy how bad the AFC North has been this year, that the Ravens are still in it and the betting favorite in Vegas to win the division at 2-5. You just never see that. The spread is 7.5. I think the Ravens are going to cover and win going away. I know it's in Miami, but the Ravens really impressed me this past week, and getting Lamar back will absolutely help. And Kyle Hamilton, got to bring him up. I still don't think he gets enough attention. I think he's the best safety in the NFL. He can play deep, he can play in the box, and he can cover tight ends. He can do everything. He's just a really, really good player. Still think the Raven defense isn't very good. And I think the Dolphins can put up some points. They can score in the 20s in this game. No problem, but I think the Ravens are going to score a lot of points in this game as well. So, what do you think down below? Do you think the Ravens are cover 7.5? That's a lot for a road team. Do you think the Dolphins, coming off their big win, are just playing better and they can cover? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, please share this with anyone who loves football as we continue to grow the channel. Give me a thumbs up as well. Really helps out. Subscribe, you know that. Hit the bell. Check out these videos if you haven't. One's about the Green Bay Packers, others about the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'll see you in the next video.